Okudzeto Ablakwa. Honorable, good morning, and I hope you're well.
Hi, good morning. I'm good. How about you?
I'm also doing well, and it's nice to have you on the phone. First, let me start with your, how's your constituency this morning?
Yeah, we are doing our best. We are building resettlement homes. We delivered the first one in 7 weeks with support from the First Sky Group Construction Ambassadors. We have started the second one, which we are finishing in a few days, which is an enhanced version. If you look at the design, we've made it disability friendly because this time we are prioritizing the physically challenged and the aged. Because if you come to my constituency now, you go to Degome, you go to Agbetipo, you go to Dofo, Adidome, you go to Alabono, you go to Fujoku, you go to the Batodie, you'll see that there are camps in all of these communities because remember that NADMO said 1,500 homes were totally damaged. So these people have nowhere to go to. So the water levels have receded, all right, but the damage that the VRA-induced floods caused, that damage is still with us. And until we build resettlement homes for these vulnerable displaced persons who have lost everything, they cannot leave the classrooms, they cannot leave the tents. So we are on our own. All the resources people brought to us, people donated. We've also had to add some of our own funds to it. That's what we are using for the second housing project. And you may also have heard that another evidence of the devastation that the floodwaters caused came to the fore a few days ago when one of the bridges that got submerged during the floods, the Saikofa Bridge, caved in when a truck carrying 600 bags of salt from Ada decided to use that bridge. So it raises issues about the need for a comprehensive structural integrity assessment of all the bridges, the hospitals, the schools, the churches, all the buildings that were submerged, the roads that were cut off. So there is a need for a lot of reconstruction, a lot of recovery efforts. Unfortunately, we don't see the government presence in the constituency at all. We don't see the VRA presence at all. And it is a shame that after all of these months, a country cannot be there for its most vulnerable. And look, my people committed no crimes. They are bearing the brunt, so all of us can have electricity. If they didn't pay this price, the dam will have collapsed because of all the excess water. And the VRA didn't do the spillage as they did in previous years. We didn't cause devastation. This time, the way the spillage was done, has wreaked a lot of havoc. So people who are bearing the brunt, so all of us can have electricity. You don't treat them this way, whether they vote for you or not. The president does not come and stand in their face and tell them, look, you don't vote for me, I wouldn't even have been here. How about all the sacrifices they have made? Donating their land, sacrificing their jobs, for the Kosombo Dam to be built, and now bearing the brunt so that all of us can have electricity, so the president himself can have electricity in his office, at the Flagstaff House, and at home. So I want to call out the government and call out the VRA that they have to be alive to their responsibilities. Because it's just a matter of time. In the next few days, when Parliament resumes, we will push strongly for the probe to be done. And we will expose the neglect, the naked neglect of these victims by those who are in control of our taxes, who are supposed to and expected, constitution. We are not asking for favors. It is our right, that we are catered for. But you do know our approach. Our approach as local leaders is that even though we will expose the government neglect, we don't abandon our people. We don't raise our hands in despair. We mobilize. And I want to thank the Ghanaian people, everybody who has come to our aid, including you at Radio Gold and all your listeners who have been so compassionate, so caring. I am glad that we had the foresight very early in the day to establish the Accountability Elders Council, led by Professor Mananechi Afedo, and we quickly asked them to open an account. So every financial donation that came in, it was put in that account. I'm not a signatory to the account. They are the signatories. And we were able to then have some resources to do the housing project, which we are almost completing in the next few days. In the next few days, we'll be done with it. I'm glad that we had that foresight. And it tells you what we can do if there's transparency, if there's accountability, and if people are sincere and honest with resources that come in, no matter how little. Because as they say, little drops of water makes a mighty ocean. And you'll soon see the project when we commission a center, and you'll be shocked what has been achieved with all the donations that came in. 5,000 here, 10,000 there, 50,000 there. You know, the chief imam gave us 70,000. Reverend Sudanaba 50,000. You had Grandma Florence Enin 5,500. You had people who sent 500, who sent 1,000, who sent 2,000. You know, because we had good accountability mechanisms and created that account. We've been able to mobilize a good project out of it, and I am glad that this new resettlement homes will help at least another 300 fiscally challenged and the aged. But what this also means, Senna, is that we need to do more of these houses, because soon the rains will be upon us and the people cannot survive in the tents. When it starts raining, these tents cannot save you. And it also means that there are some of our school pupils whose education has really, really, really been affected, because their premises are being used for these camps. And not until we build resettlement houses and move all of them out, they can't have access to their classrooms. So even though the U.S. ambassador was with us a few days ago and donated some tents for teaching and learning, sometimes it does get hot in those tents, particularly when it's a very sunny day. So it's still not ideal. What is really ideal is for us to resettle these people, build houses for them, and the school peoples can have their schools back. So it's a shame that 5 months on, a government cannot be awake to its responsibilities. I mean, it is absolutely disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. I mean, if this had happened elsewhere in jurisdictions where they have a responsible government, a government that cares for its citizens, that has respect for its citizens, that is alive to its obligations, it would not even be weeks. I mean, as we speak, Saglemi housing is still there, rotting away. Can you believe that, Sana? All these months, and people are living in tents. But we'll continue to do our best as local leaders. We'll continue to be there for our people and to build for them. We've rolled out other interventions. The students who were in the camps and couldn't go back to the universities, we've paid their school fees, so they have returned. Teachers who also left the district because their houses were damaged, we've mobilized resources and we've paid 6 months rent for 167 that's the 167 teachers affected. That's data we received from the Education Directorate. So we've paid their 6 months rent so they can come back and teach our children. Fortunately, they have all returned now, I think, with the exception of just 3 people the last time I checked. And so they've picked up their funds, they've rented their accommodation, and they are returning to the classrooms. I'm also renovating my first Okudzeto Secondary School, which was the biggest camp. You remember the secondary school was collapsing. So we had to move the people to the first housing project we did. And we're doing the renovations. Again, we got promises from government that they would come and do renovations, paint the school, and all of that. They still haven't come to our aid, despite the fact that the Minister of Education was there, saw the extent of destruction, and promised that they would come and help. So it has appeared to me that the president's principle, which he repeated recently to the Kumfi people, you don't vote for me, you don't get development. That's what is going on. But as I say, we are not local leaders who will just throw our hands in despair. So we are mobilizing, we are supporting, we are painting, we are building, we are offering scholarships. We are doing all we can do to keep our people afloat. And all of this would not have been possible without the Ghanaian people and without stations like yours who have really kept us in your prayers and kept our plight, alive. So we are grateful to you all.
Well, some promises made, so much expected of government that is not being delivered. Perhaps that explains why one of the things you have been recently talking about is the management of the Black Stars. In fact, the latest you're doing has been to go into the AFCON budget, and it's the first time we are seeing that 8.5 million was what was budgeted for AFCON. What is happening within the Black Stars interest you so much?
It must interest all of us. And why I am interested is that when I see what few thousands of cities can do, the difference it can make in the lives of my people who are stranded. If we were able to do the first Sky building, which has taken 300 people, 1.2 million cities. Can you believe that? 1.2 million. So with this $8.5 million, which is 105 million Ghana cities at the current exchange rate, imagine how many of those houses we can build. Just imagine. And yet my constituents are living in destitution, abject squalor. No fault of theirs. They had worked hard, built their own houses, they were living comfortably. Then the VRA decides to spill from their Kosovo bomb dams. So when I see these staggering amounts, and a lot of people are getting confused, let me be clear. This $8.5 million, it has nothing to do with the earlier figures I put out, the 27.9 million cities on qualifiers. It is not part of it. It is separate. So the Ghana-Angola friendly, qualifier, which the taxpayer spent 7.4 million. The Ghana-Madagascar one, which was 8.5 million. They are all separate. So that 27.9 million, you have to add it to the 105 million. So we are talking in excess of 130 million cities. In a country where not too long ago, Senna, the Kolebu Renal Unit needed 4 million cities to save lives. I'm told 25 people have died because government says it didn't have 4 million cities. So it's not only flood victims who have been neglected. Call up teacher trainees, nursing trainees. Find out from them how many months they are owed. That inferior allowances that they because they didn't do any replacement. What they did was to introduce an inferior, even with the inferior allowances. They can pay. NAPCO workers were sacked to go home. Their arrears have not been paid. School feeding caterers, Call them up. They are owed many months, some of them years. Road contractors. There are hospitals today without incubators. Women are delivering on the bare floor. A few days ago, when I went to Ridge Hospital, which President Mahama built for us, they can't even maintain it. Roofs are leaking already at the Ridge Hospital. I was scandalized. Just a few years. So this is the country we live in. Government says it cannot find money for its obligations. We have been declared bankrupt. We are defaulting on our loans. We are the IMF seeking a bailout. We are forcing people to take financial haircuts, crude haircuts. Even if you are as bored as I am, Ken Oforiatta won't spare you. All of us, we day inside some. Senior citizens, pensioner bondholders, have to go and demonstrate before they get their own money. Ken Oforiatta, Bawumia, Akufo-Addo. They've hijacked all those funds because they say that they have mismanaged this economy. We are broke. And people are dying at the Kolebu renal unit. And this is what we are doing. And you see, what annoys me in this whole matter, why I'm so outraged, is the arrogance, the blatant violation of our laws. First of all, this amount should have been approved by Parliament. These are public funds. When we asked, why did they refuse to bring the budget? Why did they tell us that it had not been finalized? Check their hands up. That's what they told us. Journalists asked them, they said, oh, when we return, after the tournament. They have been back. We have waited for days. They have the effrontery. They are bringing us more bills. What they have done is to set up a committee that they are going to get a new coach. Can you believe that? After all they have done to us,
Ghana's gold,
emptied our coffers. And look, we are going to demand a probe. I have my doubts, like many Ghanaians, that these monies went into Black Stars, went into food, because 105 million. A few weeks earlier, 27.9 million. And yet these are the results. If these monies are really going into football administration in our country, how come our stadia all over the country are gone? Have you visited some of our stadia? Go and look at Isipon. Go to Ho. I mean, even the so-called prominent ones are cries in a mess. You remember, Senator, not too long ago, FIFA could not even find one pitch which could meet their certification for even international matches in Ghana. Not one. So where are all these monies going to? And look at the state of our economy. Look at how many people are suffering. All the obligations that government says it doesn't have money for. And yet government could come up with this. And this afternoon, I'll be releasing more documents, which will shock you, Senator. You will see how Ken Oforiatta said they should spend this money. You will see it this afternoon.
You mean the Black Stars budget?
Yes.
Ken Oforiatta is the one dictating how the money should be spent.
Yes. With his signature. Don't worry, stand by 3 p.m. live.
Budget for Black Stars.
Yes.
That the FA is supposed to supervise. Because if the FA takes a budget to you, they've already told you the items which... You're saying that you have in your possession a document where Ken Oforiatta is the one telling them, give this today, do this and do that.
3 p.m. is not far. You will see it.
I love Radio Gold.
You will see it.
0.5.
With that controller an accountant general who lost his primaries, and let me salute the MPP delegates for teaching him a lesson. They will even be more happy this afternoon when they see what he was doing with Ken Oforiatta. They will be very, very happy that they booted him out of their constituency. I mean, a country that says it cannot afford incubators for its preterm babies. It cannot build resettlement homes. I mean, it's incredible. And you have returned from this, your calamitous outing. Instead of apologizing, telling us how you use our monies, you have the effrontery to say that you are going to look for a new coach to bring us more bills. I mean, where does this happen? Why does this happen? I mean, I can't believe it. And people are quiet. People are quiet. See how they are even treating organized labor. I've been listening to the UTAG lecturers. See how they are treating them. See how, Sana, they say that we are not giving them enough money, so they want to tax us more. That even for the first time, they are putting VAT on electricity. Incredible. As incoming President Mahama will say, Jack Toronto and his junior brothers. Tax upon tax upon tax, suffocating us with taxes. And this is what they are doing with our taxes. This is what the e-levy, the emission tax, the VAT on electricity, these are the things they are doing with it. So, Sana, I am glad that when Parliament resumes, we will be demanding a full-scale inquiry into these expenditures. Fortunately, we have intercepted quite some good documents, quite a lot. They will have no hiding place. I don't know which corner they can go and hide. We will be demanding answers. They will not get away with this. And the earlier they dissolve that coach searching committee, look, the rot in Ghana football, even if you bring FIFA's coach of the year, Pep Guardiola, if you bring Jurgen Klopp, even Mourinho, who has just been fired from Roma, it will not amount to anything. The rot, the hemorrhage is too much. Look, we've had enough. And if you come from constituencies where the people are so helpless, where they can't find assistance, where government has abandoned because government claims it doesn't have money, you cannot see these things and accept them. Look, you are going for a tournament where the prize money, if you win the trophy, you get $7 million. A country that is broke, you put a budget together of $8.5 million. So even if we had such a great team and we won, you, ab initio, you are taking us into a loss-making venture. We will have a deficit of $1.5 million. How? What kind of wickedness is that? Meanwhile, other teams in the same tournament, I put out the Zambian budget, which they presented. They respect their citizens. They respect their parliament. The Minister for Youth and Sports and the FA went to the Zambian parliament and presented a budget of $2.1 million. Interestingly, they are using a coach that we abandoned, Avram Grant. They all went to parliament, defended their budget, the Zambian parliament. $2.1 million. Hoping that if they win, at least they can bring some $5 million home. Responsible leaders, responsible FA, who respect the people. who are in a democracy. South Africa, they presented their budget. Nigeria presented their budget. Why is Ghana treating budget of Black Stars like it's some nuclear code? Nuclear code. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Meanwhile, we are all playing the same tournament. The countries who have gone there with budget of $2 million, $1.5 million, the $2.5 million, are even doing better than us, playing better than us. I mean, what is this? What is this? A president who says he will protect the public purse. Now, even the purse, he can't tell us where it is. We can't find the purse. You ask for budget and they just snub you, treat you with utter contempt. Why? Why? What wrong did we commit? Why?
Oh, we're looking forward to the other document that you'll be releasing at 3 p.m. today.
Yes, 3 p.m.
Yes.
live.
Okay.
Don't miss it. I will not be a minute late.
Briefly, my time is not so helpful to me. Before I let you go, have you seen the banter between the Commissioner General of the GRA and your colleague Samuel Georginate?
Yes, I've seen it. Disgraceful. Why, Senna, if I ask you your age, will it take you even a second? Disgraceful. And it's because they know they have violated the Constitution. This man should have left there long ago. He attained the age of 60 in October 2021. 2021. Then they said they are giving him a 2-year contract. That 2-year contract expired in October 2023. So he has no business being in office and purporting to be signing agreements, $100 million agreements. And because he knows the legal implications. That is why he didn't want to answer. But you see, again, the silly partisanship. These MPP MPs, see how they disgrace Parliament. Imagine this video being watched by the international community.
Ghana's gold.
Instead of on such matters, we come together as a parliament. Look, didn't these parties come to meet Ghana? And have parties, look, there have been greater parties that collapsed. I don't think any party has been mightier than the CPP. Where is the CPP today? Ghana first. Ghana first. People should love the country small. Look at that OPK guy. Oh, it's a personal question. Chairman, don't allow it. And the Deputy Minister for Finance. And they are all jumping over themselves. Don't answer it. What is personal? Why is it in the Constitution? Hey, do we know what we are doing? Look, the age question is so fundamental in our democracy. Voting, is there not an age for voting? If you are not 18 years, can you vote? Going to Parliament, there's an age requirement. You must be 21 at least. To run for president, you must be 40. Retirement is 60 for some people at the bench due to the Supreme Court, 70. So these are key issues. They are constitutional issues. And you have MPs jumping over themselves, trying to even physically prevent some judge from probing further in the Parliament of Ghana, a country that not too long ago people looked up to us for high democratic standards. And look at what people are doing. So look, I don't blame Amisha Dai alone. I blame more of, because if he saw that this was a very serious platform where even the MPP MPs see the relevance of this question and would not attempt to block it, he would not have been, and see what he was doing, just laughing at the question. Laughing. Lord save this report. Look, we have fast become a banana republic. Banana republic. And because people think they'll get away, they'll rather be hailed by the... Look, all those MPs who engage in that, OPK and all of that, who were presenting this harmless question and gave the chairman, the distinguished and celebrated Honorable James Aveji, the chair of the park, that tough time. By now, elsewhere, they will even be facing some sanctions committee and what their constituents will have done to them. I mean, what is wrong with telling a parliamentary committee when you attain the age of 60? And we are told that we are being led by some celebrated lawyer we've never seen before, who is most reported in the law reports, and his era will usher in a new dawn of rule of law and all of that. You wonder where is decent in Ghana now. It's like everywhere is a crime scene. Everywhere. Everywhere. How did we come to this? How did we come to this?
Oh.
And parliamentarians, instead of them to support us, to do our work. And I hope that one of these is the speaker. Because you see, at committee, what I've always known is that you really have to suppress even the partisanship. Because really, at committee, we must work together. It's a parliamentary committee. And there's a reason why for such key committees, it is said that it should be chaired even by a member who does not belong to the ruling party, does not belong to the party forming the government of the day. It is for a reason, so that it will be a serious exercise. What business did that OPK guy and all those MPs say is very personal?
Honorable, thank you for speaking to us this morning. Just to notify you that I'm sure he's like a father to you. Mr. Kwesi Prajina has taken an exception to the use of the name Jack Toronto. He says he's had that nickname for so long, and he's not happy that the former president has given it to somebody else. So he's taking an exception to the...
Tell my godfather would get him a new nickname.
Well, thank you. Thank you for speaking to us. Honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa is Member of Parliament for North Tongu, joining us. We have to take a but before we do that, did you know that MTN Momo now has an app? Yes, MTN Momo has a brand new app specially designed to make your Momo experience easier, convenient.